All right. Welcome to another episode of Playing Injured. I think this will be a subject that folks continue to come back to. But we are sitting with a money mindset expert, Mr. Pericles Rellas. Mr. Pericles, how we doing?
Josh, I'm doing great. It is so cool to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
I love it. Well, I always start this show with who is Pericles and how does he spend his time today? Would love to hear.
Pericles is a money mindset expert, and I love the conversation of money. I love sharing it with people. I love expanding our understanding of what our relationship is with money. And I love the journey that I'm on around it. You know, I've been doing this for 25 years. And when I first started, I thought, wow, this is really cool. I love this. And 25 years later, it's morphed into more and more. It's an ever expanding conversation. It started as a very black and white money and how do we make more? And then it became money and, well, what are the dynamics of it? And now it's morphed into a spiritual conversation. It's morphed into an energetic conversation. It's many, many different things. And it is just, I guess it's my passion. And my day today has been, this is my second interview today. So I love just having these conversations and then working with clients all day long, having conversations with each and every one of them about what is their mindset around money? What is their mindset around prosperity and growth and whatever it is that they're committed to so that they can have the life of their dreams.
Yeah, I love it. One thing that really caught my eye looking at some of your work, you talk about that our relationship with money is a mirror of what our relationship looks like with ourselves. Talk about that. Obviously, I would love to hear, first of all, when you found that out, because like you said, at first it was just, how can we make more money? Right.
Right.
But the relationship with money, when you do have it, or when you are, hey, going to work every day, building a business, whatever the case may be, I would love to hear you talk about that relationship with ourselves, but also too, how did you stumble upon that?
Yeah, as I said when we first started talking, this has been an extraordinary journey for me. It's like an onion that just the layers never end. There's another level, there's another level, there's another level. And this whole relationship with money being a mirror of our relationship with ourselves and the world around us really has started, I think, in the last 6 months or so. And I've been exploring it more and more in these conversations. And I think one of the things that I started getting present to earlier on is that as we start to think about money, as we start to talk about money, there are thoughts, feelings, and emotions that come up immediately. And suddenly we start to see, oh, I have this limiting conversation around money, or I have this negative conversation about money, or I have this opinion about me and money. Like, I'm never going to be worthy to have that kind of money, or money's the root of all evil, or you have to work really hard to have a lot of money, or it's just not something we're ever going to be able to enjoy or have. All of these conversations then start to show us how our life has been defined. Now the mirror is up. Now we're looking at ourselves in the mirror saying, wow, I made this decision about my life when I was very young. And my parents did the same thing because of the way their parents related to money and so on and so forth. So we've got these generational mindsets around money. They're based on how we were raised, who was around us that was influential. And the more we start to explore this, the more we see our own life reflected in that. And then we take it to the next level and we see how we relate to other people. Am I cheap and stingy with money with myself? Well, all of a sudden I start to see that that's the way I am with other people. And I relate to the world around me. Or I have fear around money. And I look to see, wow, I operate inside of fear a lot around my life. And that starts to bring to the front those conversations, which we can then deal with and then create a whole new way of operating in our lives. So that's in one sense of how that money relationship is a reflection of how we relate to the world and ultimately ourselves.
Yeah, I think especially understanding ourselves and our values really helps with our relationship with how we spend our money, what we invest into, right? What do we see as an investment? What do we see as, spending, right?
Right.
So I think it's two angles. And I love the angle that you took. First off is kind of the scarcity mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I might lose this. I might not get it back. I'm hoarding money. I have a very stingy mindset around money. And then you also have folks who feel like they aren't worthy of actually receiving the amount of money that they actually want, right? I know there's a study done where they had the same job description, right? Same exact job description, same amount of years of experience, different dollar, amount of what your salary would be. And most folks chose to apply for the job that had the lower salary because that's what they felt like they were worthy of, right?
Right, right.
How can folks start to get out of that, right? Start to learn how to grow their self-worth and their relationship with themselves so that they can kind of unblock kind of that flow?
It's important for us to get quiet and listen to the negative thoughts that pop into our head when we start to, for example, looking for a job. And we're looking through all of the different options. And in this particular case, I've got a job here that's $50,000 a year and an exact same job that's $100,000 a year. Yeah, I'm going to go for the 50. Okay, why did I just make that choice?
Yeah.
Right? Most of us don't bring this kind of critical thinking to our relationship to money or our relationship to making choices in our life. We just make the choices and we move forward. It's important for us to move things from this automatronic survival part of our brain into the frontal cortex where we're actually bringing that critical thinking, that thought process to, well, why did I just choose what I chose? Why did I make that decision versus this decision? Why did I respond or react this way? And when we do that, we can then start to explore who we truly are. And why we make those decisions. Because just like you said, oh, wow, you know what? I took the 50,000 because when I was growing up, I was told never be greedy. And that conversation has been running my show, running my life since I was a little kid. Well, I'm letting go of that conversation because it's not being greedy. It's never being greedy when we say my time is worth X because I know I make a difference in the world. I know that when people work with me, they're going to get the outcome that they want. Well, that has a certain value. And there needs to be an equitable exchange. There needs to be that reciprocity. And owning that you have that value is going to allow you to move to the next level. And so when we start to have those conversations, suddenly the possibilities open up that we never saw before. And there's another conversation that just kind of, as you were sharing, came to me. It's like, a lot of times people have this negative conversation. Money's the root of all evil. They're really worried that they're going to be evil. Money is a magnifying glass. Money's not evil. Money's not good. It's like a magnifying glass. It will simply amplify whatever personality traits we embrace. So we all have the propensity to be good or evil in our lives. You know, I can do things that are cruel or evil, or I can choose to do things that are good, that make a difference. I choose that. Whatever it is that I choose to embrace, money's simply going to amplify that. You know, if we hold a magnifying glass up to something, we don't say, "Oh, look what I'm seeing. The magnifying glass is evil." No, what we're seeing is simply amplified. So if we relate to money in the same way, it's simply going to amplify who I choose to be. You never have to worry about it as long as you're true to who you really are and who you want to be in the world.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Because, I mean, you see folks who are even homeless, right? And they're generous, right? And they give. So if they came into a lot of money, I don't think that they would hoard what they had. I think they would still be givers, right? And so you talk about the character of who you are. And if you have great character, you shouldn't have fear around having money, right?
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And then there's the other conversation about, I want money to be happy. Once I get a certain amount of money, I'll be happy. Once I get a certain amount of money, I'll have security. I'll have love. I'll have all of those things. Well, here's the bad news, everyone. That is not the truth. Money is not going to provide you with happiness. Money is not going to provide you with joy, with love, with all of those things. It just won't. I've seen, as you just described, we see people who have very little money, who have a complete sense of joy, happiness, and fulfillment. And we have people with a lot of money who have none of those things. and everything in between. It isn't the money that provides those things. That comes from here. And when we get to that place of, I have enough, I have joy in my life, I have happiness in my life, I am fulfilled right now, right this moment. Then when the money does show up, oh my gosh, it's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know what? I used to think I'd need this money to buy something so I'd feel happy, but I already feel happy. So now what am I going to do with this money now that it's here? We're living in a different world. We're relating to things in a different way. And that has us be a different person. And I love this from Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets, when he said, you make me want to be a better man. What if we related to money in that way? Having money makes me want to be a better person, makes me want to be better with money, just like a significant other. We're in a relationship and we start to treat that person in a way that, oh my gosh, I want this to last forever. I want you to be honored and cherished whenever you're in my presence. I'm so grateful that you're with me. I will always honor and respect you. Well, we don't do that with money. Imagine if we treated our significant other the way most of us treat money. It's like, I want you when I want you. When you're here, I want to show you off so I look good to everybody around me and look how cool I look that I've got this great relationship. But when you're not here, I'm not thinking about you. I'm not considering you. I'm not worried about you. I expect you to provide me with things that you can't, right? That relationship wouldn't last very long.
Yeah.
But we start to map that onto our relationship to money. The sky's the limit.
Yeah. I love how you put that. Is a lot of folks out there, we look at social media, we look at TV, and we create this vision of, oh, I need that. I need that car. I need that home. It wasn't even in my mind, right? And I do think it is a point of being inspired and different things like that. But like you said, having that quiet time to understand who we are, right, and know what we want. Before you know it, you'll buy a car and realize, I don't even like this car and I don't even know I even have it, right? A lot of times when we spend money for validation, that's when we end up understanding that it's a mistake, right? Not till after you spend and then you're like, oh, I don't feel.
Man, what did I just do?
Yeah.
The money's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
But what you're speaking to, Josh, is our reality TV world that we live in, our social media world that we live in. Mm-hmm. You know, we watch reality TV and we think that it's real. We think that this is how I should live my life. That's just entertainment. Mm-hmm. It is not reality TV. It is not reality in terms of how life is. And the same thing with social media. We see people all over social media that they want to look like they're the player and they've got all this money and the jet set life. And it's like, I promise you, not all of them, but the majority of them do not live that life. They don't have the money to afford that life. They're in debt. They're building and growing debt in order to look like they're wealthy. Well, if you're truly interested in having wealthy, we have to let go of what other people think about us. Yeah. Because in that moment, we're no longer going to make the choices that put us into debt to look like we have wealth. We're going to actually make the choices that are going to have us actually have wealth. And I don't care what anybody thinks. You know what? My friends want to go out to an expensive dinner. Great, guys, I can't go. Mm-hmm. I don't have the money, so I'm not going to go. We would never do that. We would rather put it on a credit card so we look cool. And sometimes we'll even pay for everybody so we look even cooler. Meanwhile, all we're thinking is, okay, when am I going to get to my limit? Is that credit card going to go through? Please go through. Please don't get declined. Minimum payment, minimum payment, minimum payment. Ooh, I got another credit card offer. I'm going to get this credit card. And now we're building mounds and mounds of debt. And it's for nothing. Whereas I'd rather you be building mounds and mounds of wealth, yes, and not worried about what other people think. Because at the end of the day, they're not thinking about you. Mm-mm. They really don't care about you. Our favorite subject is ourselves. We're worried about ourselves, and that's what people think. And think about what you think when you see somebody who's doing that. They're trying to impress everybody. What do we think? What idiots? What losers? Well, that's probably what they're thinking about us, so why do it? Right? Do what you know you want to do to create the kind of wealth that you want, and don't worry about what other people think.
Yeah, I think that's so huge. And that example of us looking to make other people think that we look cool, look rich, look like we have it all together. Just to be at war with ourselves when we come home and we are struggling to pay a bill because we spent money on a $500 dinner. We're struggling. We're living paycheck to paycheck because we wanted to have the nicest apartment out of our friend group, right?
Right.
Having the nicest car just to appease other people, but make our lives much stressful.
Right.
It is. I know it's a human nature thing, right? Yeah. It's human nature to appease other people, and then instead of making ourselves proud, but you feel so much better making yourself proud of, hey, I have an extra $1,500 this month. That's how much I cash flow this month.
Right.
I feel really good. Right. So
imagine how sleep would be. Imagine what it would be like going to bed every night knowing that your debt is going down and how much you're saving and your wealth is going up to the point where I don't have any debt at all.
Yeah.
I have no debt. Oh my gosh, what does that look like? Right. And then I actually can start saving to pay cash for something when I go buy it. I don't need to go buy a brand new car because I'm going to lose all of that value the minute I drive it off the lot. I'm willing to go buy a car that's 3 years old, still under warranty, looks great, is a new car for me, and pay cash for that thing. And I don't lose all that depreciation, and I'm making a much smarter choice for myself. I'm not and that's what a lot of people do when they start to make more money. It's a huge mistake. They start to make more money and they're like, "Ooh, I had a good month. I made $1,500 more this month," right? Okay, I'm going to go put myself on the hook for an $800 a month car payment. Well, the next month, instead of making that extra $1,500, they actually make less than that. And now we've got an $800 swing plus the $1,500. Holy shnikes, what are we going to do? And we go into the crisis mode. And we start contracting. We got to cut. What are we going to do? And we go into panic. And then we start earning even less because we're panicked. We're losing sleep. Our health and wellness goes down. When we live in a world where we're building wealth all the time rather than going into debt because we want to look good, our health gets better. Our sleep gets better. Our relationships actually get better. And we start to live a life of joy and happiness rather than scrounging and scrambling to try to figure out how I'm going to make all my payments this month.
Yeah. And I think it's so key to always remember, like you said, first to be conscious about it before you make the impulse decision. Before you do certain things, to just think about, hey, why am I doing this?
Right.
Damn, do I really want to do it? Will this make me happy with myself? Or am I looking to make others happy or just make other people think highly of me?
Right.
And a lot of times people already think highly of you anyway. They already have great thoughts about you anyway. You didn't have to get the car. You didn't have to get the house, right? It really didn't change much. Maybe it was like, it's an accomplishment, but eventually it wears off. And whether you had the house or not, the real people who are in your corner, you didn't have to do it,
Right.
And so I just think it's very important to realize that. And then also too, we do it for social media as well. I can speak for my generation. I know for a fact, we think about all the outfits that we want to put on when we go to dinner or when we go to vacation, just so that we can take pics of it and put it on social media. And all of our high school friends from 10 years ago and college friends can see how great we're doing now.
Right.
And again, I understand it's human nature, but like you said, that crisis mode of the downward spiral that happens from making other people happy just isn't worth it.
Right. And we look at something like vacation. This is a great example, Josh, is we get to a place in our life where I need to go on vacation. I deserve a vacation. And I'll say to someone I'm working with, okay, great. So how much have you saved? Well, I haven't saved anything. Okay, great. Well, you actually don't deserve a vacation because you haven't saved the money to go on vacation. And well, I'm going anyway. And they'll put it on a credit card. right? They'll put this expensive vacation on a credit card and then they go off on vacation. They're so excited. They need this vacation. Day one of vacation, they're doing whatever they're doing. If they're on a cruise or on the beach or something like that. And they're, oh, this is so nice. Day two, they go to pay for breakfast or go to pay for lunch on the credit card and they start thinking, oh, okay, how much limit do I have on this card? Is this going to go through? I'm getting pretty close. And then the rest of the vacation is all about how much they're spending and how big that bill is going to be when they get back home. So we've had one day of vacation and the rest of the day, stress and anxiety about, okay, how am I going to pay this when I get home? Oh my gosh, this is going to be really expensive and I have to figure this all out. So we then get home and we've got this huge credit card bill, which we can't afford to pay. So we're making a minimum payment on it. That's going to last us 10 years. That we're going to be paying off that vacation that didn't provide us with the relaxation and the rejuvenation that we needed because we were stressed most of the time about it. Whereas imagine you actually start thinking ahead and you're putting money aside every single paycheck or every single month that's in your vacation fund. And then you get to a place 6 months down the line or a year down the line, it's like, you know what? I have earned this vacation. I do deserve a vacation. It's time for me to go on vacation. And we look at the travel fund and we see how much money's in there. Well, I have $1,000 in there, or I have 2,000, or I have 5,000, whatever's in there. And that is what you now get to spend on your vacation. Now you build your vacation around what you have, not what you don't have. And then you take a credit card, and you put that vacation on that card, knowing full well that I've got the money in the bank. So when I get home, I'm going to pay it off in full. And you go on that vacation, you get to enjoy yourself. You get to not think about or worry about money because you know it's all going to be paid for in full because it's sitting in the bank. And you're using a card that gets cash back or points. So when you get home and you pay that card off, you're like, wow, and I got a 3% bonus, or I got all these points for doing, which I can then apply to my next vacation. Totally different world in which to live, totally different place in which to spend. And then we actually start thinking more carefully about, wow, I've got $2,000 for vacation. Where do I want to go? What do I really want to spend this money on? I think I can wait a little longer to go on vacation. I think I wanted to. Our whole dynamic of thinking about what we're going to spend that money on when we've got it sitting in the bank becomes different because it's something we actually have versus something we don't have. Just throwing it on a credit card, who cares? Nuh-uh. I've saved for the last 6 months or however long is it. I've got this $5,000 sitting in my, I don't know if I want to spend it on that. I don't know if that's really worth it. Our thought process becomes different. And then our experience of money and ourselves shifts completely. And then when we do spend money on something, it's a whole different relationship we have to that thing. And, you know, I look, I love to have beautiful things around me. And I've spent years collecting things. But every single one of them was thought out. Every single one of them. There isn't an impulse buy in my office or in my home. Every single thing I've thought about. Do I really want this? How is it going to improve or enrich or enliven me when I come into my office and I see her? Every day. I love it. I sit on calls all day long and I can see her in my camera. It's so much joy and pleasure, but she isn't the source of my joy and pleasure. That comes from here, but she enriches my life. She brings something from the outside in. And that's a choice that I couldn't have made if I wasn't in a place of who I truly am and knowing what I want in my life.
Yes. You're talking about delayed gratification, delaying, right?
Yeah.
When we delay it.
Right.
And really understand that when we delay, we think about it. When we earn something, we've thought about it and we're conscious about it, we get an opportunity to really enjoy it. I mean, like,
yeah,
I've gone on vacations thinking about, man, when I get back home, I'm gonna keep swiping, but I know when I get back home, I know I'm putting myself in a bad position, you know?
Right.
And then I've had vacations where I've actually saved for it and I feel really great about it. You know, I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about it. I can really unplug. And it's so many examples of this that we can give. Going out to dinner with family. Hey, we put money aside for this. Christmas, right? Saving money, put that aside for gifts for Christmas. Now I can be as generous as I want to be with my family. I'm not being stingy.
Right.
So I think one thing you mentioned is obviously, not worrying about what other people think, but also being very conscious to, is it needed? Right? Like, how is it going to make me feel? And do I really want it? Do I really want it? Or do I want to have this so that other people can think I'm doing something?
Right. And we look at the world we live in, especially in the United States.
Yeah.
We have storage unit after storage unit after storage unit. It's just like we're the country of storage units where we've got so much. And it's like, we don't even know the stuff that we have. Most people would pray to have a fraction of what most of us have. And they live happier, more joyful, more fulfilled lives than we do, right? And what is that all about? And you're pointing exactly what I'm saying in that when we've actually saved the money, we've got the money in our hands. When we go to spend it on something, it is a very different conversation than when I'm taking a card and swiping. I've earned this money. I've got this money in my hand right now, or in my bank account, or wherever it is. And I need to really think, I need to be thoughtful about how I'm going to spend this. It's kind of like sometimes people are really good at spending other people's money. But when it's your money, you've got to spend, you start thinking twice about it. No, wait a minute. Whoa. When I thought you were paying, it was a different story, but now I'm paying for it. I think I need to think more about this. Do I really want this? And it's the word you're using is exactly right. Because a lot of us say, oh, I need this. No, you don't need this. You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need, do I want this in my life? And what is it going to bring into my life? And now I'm very discerning about it. I will look at something and say, oh, I would love to have that. I would love to have that. But then I'll start thinking, okay, well, how often I'm going to use it? How often am I going to interact with it? Not that I really don't need it. And that process takes me 2 minutes and I'm like, complete. I don't need that anymore. And off I go.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that also helps with like, you talked about scarcity earlier, right? Where people are kind of scared to spend a little bit. They hoard money, right?
Right.
To the point where they don't enjoy anything, right? And I think that will be helpful as well of, hey, we've saved enough. Now let's go enjoy the fruits of our labor. Talk about that, like, the other side of the spectrum of people who are just hoarding, they just hold and they don't want to kind of enjoy, right?
This is part of what I call the financial thermostat. We all have this financial thermostat, and it regulates how much money we can earn, how much money we can keep, as well as our thoughts, feelings, and emotions around money. And so it's one of the reasons lotto winners go broke. 70 to 80% of them go broke within the first 5 years. Their financial thermostat for how much money they can keep is only at a certain level. So they get all this money that comes in, and all they can do is that thermostat kicks on, just like a thermostat in your room. It gets too hot in the room, boom, the AC goes on. It's got to bring that room back down to a certain temperature. Same thing with money. I'm only set for this amount of money. I have more money than that coming in. I just start disappearing it. I start spending on things I don't even know what I'm spending it on, because I've got to bring it down to that place where it's regulated, where that thermostat is set. And the same thing's true for people who hoard money. They think, okay, I'm going to spend my entire life. I'm not going to spend money at all. I'm just going to hold on to it, so that when I retire, I've got all this money. So they live their whole life never really enjoying what money can bring to them, what they can do with money to bring that kind of joy and satisfaction or fun or whatever it is into their life. Then they retire. Conversation doesn't change. It's now, well, I'm not working anymore, so I don't have any new money coming in, so I have to be careful about what I spend. They end up spending their whole lives hoarding money and never getting to enjoy it. And on the opposite is true as well. People spend money, and disappear it all the time. They spend their whole lives disappearing money, and in the hamster wheel, I've got to keep working to make more money because I keep disappearing the money. So at some point, we have to find that balance of, you know what? I can earn money, I can save money, and I can enjoy some of my money as well. So that Look, we may get hit by a bus tomorrow. God forbid, we can get hit by a bus tomorrow. We're saving all this money for someday, maybe. Or I can live my life fully enjoying it right now while planning for the future. Whatever that looks like for each individual person. It may look different for you than it does for me than for someone else. Find what that is for you. Find that sweet spot and then enjoy life. Because there's no point in living life if you're not going to enjoy it. We're on this journey for however long we're on it. And people like to think about the destination. But the bottom line is we're on the journey way longer than we're at the destination. I don't care if you're a professional athlete. You go to the Super Bowl lasts one day.
Yeah.
But you're spending the whole season and then the preseason prepping for on the journey to get to the season and then this game and that game and this game and that game. The Super Bowl's icing on the cake. We're going to spend however long, an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours at the Super Bowl. And then what happens? I'm going to Disneyland and then I got next season and we're going to start it all over again. So you're going to be on the journey far longer than you are at the destination. That's human nature. We hit the destination, we're like, what's next? Yeah. What am I going to do next? What's my next goal? So enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, every moment of it, and then watch what happens with your life. Life will be very, very different.
Yeah, kind of letting go, right?
Yeah,
because it's a fine line of letting go, but also being conscious of how you spend as well.
Right.
And
yep. Trusting yourself to do what is right by you, not for someone else or not because I want to look good, but like I trust myself to make the smart decisions because my life is all about creating wealth. And wealth isn't just money. Wealth is having love in my life. Love is having joy in my life. It's having happiness and fulfillment. It's that sense of enough. I have enough in my life right now. I have enough in my life. Does that mean I'm not going to earn anymore? No. I have goals and I have things that I'm committed to, but I have a sense of enough right now, which gives me that freedom to take the chances, to take the risks, to do the things that I love, to do the things I want to do, freed up from, oh my God, I got to get enough. I got to get enough. I got to make more. I got to make more. I don't deal with that anymore. Yeah. And that's what I want people to experience because when we live there, ooh, it's a whole different experience.
Yeah. I love that. First of all, that you said that I am enough. That is the second time you said that. And I think that's very important because I think a lot of folks feel like they have to spend more money because themselves aren't enough, right?
Right.
And then a lot of folks feel like they need to hold all this cash because it's like, I'm not enough. I need to hold on to it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's that fine line of just understanding, hey, I am enough.
Yep. I am enough and I have enough. And to be able to say I have enough is terrifying because people are afraid, well, does that mean that's all I'm ever going to have? No, that's not all you're going to ever have.
Right.
But can you truly surrender to, I have enough right now? There are people that go to bed every single night praying to have what you and I have. Mm-hmm. What you and I have is like being a billionaire in their world. It is something they would dream to have in their lives. And when we can really get clear about that, we're like, wow, you know what? I really do have enough.
Yeah.
I can have that freedom around I have enough. And then it opens up the world for us to create, well, what is next for us inside of having enough, inside of being enough. It's kind of like being in a relationship. Again, going back to that analogy of our relationship. If I know in my relationship that I'm enough, I'm good enough, I'm worthy, I'm enough. That frees me up, not to be arrogant and cocky and a jerk, but it frees me up to know I don't have to operate inside of fear in my relationship. Mm-hmm. I don't have to operate inside of worry inside of my relationship. I just can explore and how do I make this better every day? I'm enough right now, it's enough right now, but I want to take it to the next level still. There are whole new conversations we get to create and have with ourselves, with our significant others, and with the people around us inside of I am enough and I have enough.
Yeah. And I think these are obviously very embedded beliefs. Like you said, first being conscious of beliefs and thoughts that we have. and then where they came from, right? A lot of times it's not even our own thoughts, right? It's not even our own belief. It was inherited, right?
Yes.
So, how have you helped folks I can't even say it, rewire those beliefs that they have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, this is great. You're now taking us to the next level of clearing those blocks, as I call them, in that flow of money, or clearing those negative money mindsets, or any mindset that's negative or disempowering. You nailed step number one. I have a 4-step process. Step number one is bringing that conscious awareness to it, owning it. And I'll use, let's say, for example, money is the root of all evil. This is a great one. People, very, very common in today's cultures. It's like, money's the root of all evil. If you've got a lot of money, you're a bad person, or you got it somehow in an evil way or something like that. So money is the root of all evil. Okay, I can own that that's my conversation, has been for as long as it's been. You don't necessarily need to know where it came from or when it happened. If you do, that's great. But if not, you don't have to worry about it. It's irrelevant. People spend their entire lives in therapy trying to figure out why they are the way they are. And I'm not disparaging therapy. It's great. If it works for you, do it, right? But if at the end of years and years of therapy, you say, I know why I am the way I am, and I say, great, did that make a difference? No, I'm still that way, but now I know why I am that way. That's irrelevant to me. I want us to have the outcome, which is on another path, having a different mindset, having different actions that we can take, having different thoughts about ourselves. So step number one, I own that that's my conversation. We're not giving an agreement. We're just owning that's been my conversation. It's kind of like saying you're acknowledging I'm an alcoholic or I'm an addict or whatever that is. I'm owning that that's what it is. Second step is letting it go. Can you now let it go? And how we let it go is we have to say it out loud. I release that conversation. I release that money is the root of all evil into the care of God, the universe. I don't care who it is you release it to, but something outside of yourself. You're letting it go, handing it over to them to now take care of and be the steward of. It is no longer welcome in my world. It's no longer welcome in my space. And what's odd is this is the hardest step for most people because we're so used to that old conversation. It's almost like cutting an arm off. Like, no, but that's my whole life. I've been that way my whole life. That's why I don't have money. I'm the victim of that. I'm that's who I am. It's our identity. So if you find that you're having trouble saying it, it's okay. For anyone who's listening, if you find that, oh my gosh, I can't even articulate the words. It's so part of who I am. It's okay. Keep working on it until you can finally say it. And then just keep saying it until you get a sense of relief or release, like, oh wow, I can actually feel a little bit of space. It's moving away. That's when you take step number 3. And that's where you create from nothing. What is it you want your relationship with money to be in that moment? For me, it's money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. Mm-hmm. It's a short, concise statement. It is not a Tolstoy novel. I don't want you writing like 50 million. No, you've lost the purpose of this. It's very clear and concise. 1, 2, 3, 4 words or a sentence, very short sentence. Money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. And then you want to feel it. You want to feel it in your heart. You want to feel how that feels. Money flowing to you easily and abundantly every single day. Now that's mine. You can take it. You can create your own, whatever it is for you. But you feel it and you feel it and you feel it. And then you write it down. And then you put it everywhere. You have it on your nightstand. So when you get up in the morning, you start your day feeling that. On your computer, you sit down to work. There it is. Oh, money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. And then the 4th step is you go out into the world and you watch for it manifesting. And I will talk to people all the time and they'll say, oh, I want money. Great. We'll create money coming into your life every day. Every day money's coming into your life. And I'll talk to them again. I'll say, okay, where's money? Nope, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Like, really? You didn't see money anywhere in your life? You didn't see money on the ground? Oh, well, yeah, I saw money on the ground, but I'm not picking that up. It was a penny. I don't pick up pennies. Well, going back to the relationship analogy, if your significant walks into the room and, oh, I love them so much. Oh, but their hands are so ugly. I don't want anything to do with it. Well, how do you think they're going to feel? Mm-hmm. If you can't love each individual part, How can you possibly think you're going to love the entire package? A penny, take 100 of those, you got $1. 100 of those, you got a $100 bill, right? You have to love the entire thing, and you have to be looking for money flowing into your life easily and abundantly in every way. Every opportunity. Look, one year I found almost $800 in found money, just going through my life. $800. I put it in a special jar I have at the house. Every day I was looking, finding money. Now, there were times when I saw money when I either couldn't get to it, it was out of reach, it was in a urinal one time. I'm not touching that, right? I'm not going to do that. Another time it was in traffic. It's too dangerous, but I still acknowledged it. Thank you for showing me that money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. Thank you for showing me that it's everywhere. And I'm going to pass on this one.
Yeah.
Having a conversation with somebody who's starting a new business and, whoa, that was a new opportunity that I never thought about. Maybe I should have a conversation. Have the conversation. Doesn't mean I need to say yes to them. Doesn't mean I need to jump into every opportunity, but I can explore it. I can be open to it. I can be looking for it and then acknowledging, thank you again for showing me that opportunities for money flowing into my life show up everywhere I go. That acknowledgement has more and more of that show up in your life. And then when you start to live that life versus whatever other life you've been living, and you look back a week or a month or a year from now, suddenly you're going to realize, whoa, money's everywhere in my life. Not just in my bank account, not just in my paycheck, but it's everywhere. Then life is going to be very different. You're going to be living that life versus the life you were living before.
Yeah, I love it. The fact that you said putting yourself, you let it go, you create a new thought,
Yes.
a new way of thinking, right?
Yes.
Like you said, it might feel a little awkward at first. It might be a little bit, you might say it and it you don't believe it, but
Right.
the more you say it and the more you actually put yourself in the space, right? I think a lot of times we manifest, but we don't actually put ourselves in the space, right?
Yes.
So that those thoughts can actually change.
Correct. And there are two parts to that I think is the reason many people fail with manifestation. They think, oh my gosh, I've done all the YouTube videos, I've done all the trainings, and I can't manifest anything. What's going on? Why is it not working for me? Or visualization or meditation or any of those things. There are two reasons. First and foremost is that step number one and step number two. We've got this negative mindset. And we are now planting seeds on top of it. Well, that negative mindset is going to poison any seeds that we plant on top of it. We need to get rid of, let go of, first acknowledge that it's there. Oh, there it is. It's right there. There's that negative. There's that poison. Now I'm letting that poison go. I'm getting rid of it. Now we can create that manifestation. We can create that visualization in a beautifully fertile space that will allow it to nurture, allow it to grow. And then the second part of that is, yes, you need to feel it. You know, people, I watch people do this all the time. It's on YouTube and on TikTok, and just say this over and over again, and you'll have everything you need, and they're just ranting about nothing. And they're just like reciting or regurgitating words. You may be able to get some semblance of an outcome from something like that, but it may take a lot longer. If you start to feel it right now, literally feel it right now, you have now accomplished what it is you wanted money for in the first place. I want money. Look, why do we want money? We want to be happy. Well, what if you felt happy right now without the money? Before the money ever came, you felt happy right now. Imagine how much easier it is for money to find its way to you. And then imagine how much better it will be when the money does show up. You're already happy. You have what you wanted the money for before you ever had the money. So now when the money shows up, you're thinking, what do I want this money for now? It's a whole different conversation. And so those two things are so important as we're looking at manifesting or meditating or visualizing, whatever that is.
Yeah, 100%. Usually when you live in that way, it's usually better than what you ever imagined, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
One last thing I want to go through with you, because letting things go, it can be so tough to just let it go. Let an old belief go, let an old thought go. And I love the visual that you gave of actually putting seeds over soil that is negative, right?
Right.
Trying to put positive seeds on it, letting go. And I know you said, hey, giving it up to God, giving it up to the universe. How does somebody practice that, right? Do they practice it every day, right?
Yes.
Is it as soon as they get the thought and they become conscious of it, they let it go, right? And then eventually over time, it's something that's new. What does that look like?
Yeah, it is a process.
Mm-hmm.
So you do this 4-step process. Money is the root of all evil. We hear that. We'll hear it some of you may be hearing it right now. Yeah, money's the root of all evil. That little voice saying, oh, you'll never have it. You're not smart enough. You're not educated enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not handsome enough. Whatever, it'll never happen for you. Whatever that negative little thought is, that voice in our head, right? That's what we're working on. So we've got 2 different ways we're approaching this from a brain science perspective and from an energetic perspective. Brain science is we've got these neural pathways. When we were little kids, somebody said money's the root of all evil. Boom, new neural pathway got created. And we kept thinking that over years and years and years, sometimes decades. The more we think about it, the more those neural pathways fire and wire together, the stronger they become. Well, when we take these 4 steps, number 1 and number 2, we're breaking that neural pathway. We're stopping it from getting stronger every single day. And now we're creating a new neural pathway with that new way of relating to money. And then we're out looking for it. We're reinforcing that new neural pathway. Well, that old neural pathway is still there. So we're going to still hear that old conversation, but it will get quieter and quieter, and it'll get less frequent and less frequent. And the more we focus on this new conversation around money, this new neural pathway, the stronger it will become, and the more powerful it become, and eventually it'll become the dominant conversation. And then on an energetic level, it's the same thing. We're now vibrating at a different energetic frequency. We've shifted from that money's the root of all evil vibrational frequency to money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day vibrational frequency. That old vibrational frequency will keep showing up, but we keep letting it go and letting it go and letting it go, and then embracing this new vibrational frequency. So this becomes the predominant vibrational frequency that we're operating at every single day.
Yeah, I love it. Where can folks find you? Where can folks get in touch with you?
I go off on these tangents sometimes. I'm sorry. You get me going. I'm just like, woo,
No, that is, you broke it down. And I think for folks that definitely struggle with thoughts that are limiting thoughts and limiting beliefs, right?
Yep.
And not even just with money, right? But just in life, right?
Yep.
The thought of what I believe about myself right now, let it go, and continue to let it go over time.
Yes. And one other thing I'll add to that, Josh, because I can hear somebody, I can hear it out there. Like, no, I got to fight. I keep fighting with it. It just keeps showing up and I keep fighting with it. Don't fight with it. We can't beat that part of our brain. It's the most primitive part of our brain that is kicking up that old negative conversation. It is the part of our brain that will literally make you go unconscious if you get into a fight with it. You cannot win in a battle with that part of our brain. It's the part of our brain that runs respiration, circulation, it regulates all of our bodily functions. It will win. Don't get into a fight with it. That's why I say just acknowledge it.
Own it.
And own it. Oh, there it is. I can own that that's mine. Now I'm going to let it go. I'm going to release it into the universe, into the care of God. I'm not giving it any ill will at all. I'm just releasing that conversation. That way I'm not getting into any fight. It's like somebody that comes up to you and says, yeah, Pericles, you're a jerk. Okay, I got that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I got that. I'm not fighting with him at all. I'm not adding any mass to it. I'm not adding any additional power to it. I just got it. There's nothing to fight there. There's no resistance there. Don't resist it. Don't fight it. Let it go. Continue to let it go, and then embrace the new conversation. Feel the new conversation. Own that that's who you are now, because that's what you said.
Yeah.
You created that old conversation back when you were however old. Now you're going to create a new conversation. You had the power to start it. You now have the power to end it and create a new conversation.
Yeah. And not taking those thoughts seriously. Just not taking.
Yes. Don't beat yourself up over it. Oh my gosh, you should hear the things that go through my head. You know, it's crazy. I don't give it any thought. It just happens. Like, let it go and move on. That's all I do. Let it go and move on. I know who I am. I know who I am. We are not defined by the thoughts that we have. We are defined by the thoughts that we focus on and the actions that we choose to take based on the thoughts that we focus on, and the words that come out of our mouth based on the thoughts that we focus on. So don't worry about the random thoughts that pop up. They're just random thoughts. Focus on the thoughts that you want to focus on. It's the old proverb of the student goes to the master and says, "Master, I have two tigers in my head. One of them's evil and one of them's kind." And the master says, "Well, which one are you going to feed? Which thoughts are you going to feed? The ones that you choose to feed will thrive and will grow. The ones you don't feed will starve." Just starve. Don't focus on starving it. Just focus on feeding the one you want to feed. The tiger you feed will thrive. The thoughts you focus on will thrive. And they will then give you your words and your actions. And your words and your actions are the things that are going to define you, because those are the things we can see. There are people who go to church or go to temple or go wherever they go on Sundays, and then they're jerks all week long. Those people are not looked at and thought of as, "Oh, aren't they great? They go to church on Sunday." No, they're jerks. They treat people horribly. And then there are people that go to church and then they treat people really well all week long. Or they don't go to church or they don't go to temple. And they're so nice. They're so kind. That's how we're defined in the world. And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. And then also too, right? You talk about the thoughts that we focus on and what we give energy to, what we give energy to, and putting action behind those thoughts that we put energy into, right? Because it can go both ways.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Both ways. And focusing on the thoughts that we want and take action behind those thoughts.
Yes. And we can actually train our minds to focus on the things we choose to focus on. And those random crazy thoughts that sometimes seem to dominate our mind will start to diminish as we train our minds. This is what meditation is all about. And I'm not saying you have to go meditate. If meditation doesn't work for everybody, find the thing that works for you. There is no one answer that's right for everyone. There's only the answer that's right for you right now. Find the thing that's right for you right now and start to train your mind to focus on the things that make you feel good. Focus on the things that you want in your life, and then take actions and speak consistent with those thoughts, with those feelings, because you can be focusing on, "I want to have a joyful life. I want to have a joyful life. I want to have a joyful life." But then you go and you hang out with your friends. "Oh God, this sucks and that sucks and this sucks and that sucks." Well, your language is now defining who you are in the world. Don't have those words coming out of your mouth. Stop gossiping. Stop tearing things down. Stop having those negative conversations. Start having positive conversations. Start elevating people around you. Start elevating yourself, and see how your life will transform in a very short period of time.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that. I don't think people realize that how you treat others and how you feel about others and the thoughts that you have and how you engage in the world, that's another mirror. We got all these mirrors: money, relationships with other people.
Yep.
Almost, you can start to view everything as a mirror and how you can grow and get better internally.
Right. Yes. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing else out there but us.
Yeah.
If I look at the people around me, it's a reflection of who I am. If the people around me are cruel and evil and petty and shallow, that's a reflection of who I am. If the people around me are loving and caring and magnanimous and committed to making the world a better place, leaving the world a better place, being successful in their life, that's a reflection of who I am. So look at the people you have around you, and it will tell you everything you need to know about you. And then you can start. We can't change the people around us, but we can change the people around us.
Yeah.
Meaning we can't make them change who they are. But if they're unwilling to step up in this new conversation, I may need to look at who I want around me. Right? I'm putting new boundaries where it's going to physically change the people around us. I'm not going to ask them or expect them to change because look, they're with me because I asked them to be in my life. Now I'm creating a new life for myself. If it's inconsistent with what they're committed to, well, I can't expect them to change. I'm not going to judge that. They can go do whatever they want, but it no longer has space in my world. And they may select themselves out, and I will then replace them with someone who is consistent with who I am now in my life.
Yeah. And that's tough.
It's not easy. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Especially when it's family.
Yes.
Especially when it's family. And you start to look at, oh my gosh, I've got an abusive parent. I've got an abusive sibling. I've got an abusive cousin. And every time I go interact with them, they abuse me and I blame them. Well, you know what? At a certain age, that's not on them. That's on you. That's on me. I need to be responsible for that. When am I going to put the boundary in and says, you know what? No, nobody treats me like that. You have every right to live your life the way you want. You have no right to treat me that way.
Yeah.
So my request is that you treat me with respect and with dignity, and I will always do the same for you. And if they don't honor that, then we need to look at separating or disengaging from that relationship. Oh, but it's my parent. You get to make the choice. You can be in an abusive relationship because they're your parent, or you can choose to not be in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
It's really the choice you get to make, but don't complain about it. If you stay in that relationship and they continue to abuse you, don't complain about it. You've made the choice to be there.
Yeah. And like you said before, a lot of folks that you're around can continue to instill these old beliefs into you, right? It's the reason why they were in your life in the to begin with, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you were both in the same conversation. Yeah. So you attracted them into your life because, I don't know, you like gossip, you like being shallow, you like whatever. So those people gravitate to you. Well, now you're changing who you are. You're going to repel the people that can't change, and you're going to attract new people. And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to just stay in the same situation.
Yeah, you have to be okay with it.
And it's a challenge. You have to be okay with it.
It's challenging because you don't know what's next, right? It's uncertain. And so,
and the people you're familiar with,
exactly,
and you've sometimes been maybe known for many, many years, all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, they may not be a friend anymore. They may not be in the same conversation that I'm creating for myself. What am I going to do? Let them go. You're going to love them and let them go. And let them go on their journey, on their path, while you continue down your path. It is not requisite that people need to stay with you during your entire journey. Sometimes people come into your life, they make this massive impact, and then they go on their way. And that's why they came into your life, to make the massive impact that they made. And then you get to, oh, wow, go off on your life. Now they're going to go off and do what they're going to do, right? We don't need to be with people for the rest of our lives. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, but it isn't about, oh, I've known them forever and I need to keep them with me. No, you don't. Stay with the people, attract the people in your life that elevate you, that take you to the level you want to be, that holds you to account for being who you want to be. That's what I do. My best friend Stu will call me out on anything. If I'm, Pericles, what did you just say? Dude, that is not you at all. You what? And he's calling me out and keeping me in check, just like I'm calling him out and keeping him in check. That's why we have each other in our lives, is so that we can make sure we're honoring who we are at all times.
I love it. Pericles, first of all, so much value, right? And I don't think, here's my thing, is that a lot of people look for financial advice, not realizing that a lot of it is how their relationship with themselves bleeds into their relationship with money. And obviously I've kind of heard of this before, but actually sitting down and learning these thoughts and how most folks think about money, but also too, how it can ease their mind if they're just conscious of their thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. And you've just added a ton of value.
Thank you.
So we appreciate you. Where can folks find you? Where can folks continue to hear your wise words?
Well, they can go to two places. They can go to periclesrellas.com, or they can go to resetyourfinancialthermostat.com. They both go to the same place, periclesrellas.com. And right there on the main page is a link to my free masterclass, and where I share the 4 keys to resetting your financial thermostat so that you can create that better relationship with yourself and the world around you. So that's where people can find out more about me. They can take whatever steps that they want to take. And if that isn't for you, whoever's listening, find the thing that is for you. Find the thing that speaks to you and pull it towards you. As I said before, there is no one right answer for everyone. There's only the right answer for you. And right now, find what that thing is. Explore it, dive into it. Don't be afraid to have a couple of misfires. Oh, I thought that was it. It's not. I thought that was it. It's not. Oh, this is the thing that's for me. That's what's important, is that you're getting the value that you want.
Yeah, 100%. So many times I think people just sit idle. And one of the things that I love you mentioned is just take some action. Take some action. Don't just sit, think, manifest, and meditate. Do those things, but then put action behind it. And that's where the real growth and changes happen.
Yes. And even the smallest action over time can make a massive difference. If we're in a plane at the equator to circumnavigate the globe, if we're off even just 1 degree, one tiny degree, by the time we get around the other side of the globe, we're going to be thousands of miles off of our destination. And one small action every single day, to the benefit of what it is you're committed to, will make a massive difference at the end of a week, at the end of a month, at the end of a year.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Mr. Pericles, we appreciate you. Like I said, this is a different angle that folks aren't. It's this different than Dave Ramsey, right? So the technical, you can go to him for the tactical stuff, and I'm sure you do that as well. But the beginning stages, the mindset, the foundation, it's been laid. So we appreciate you.
Josh, thank you for having me on. It's been my pleasure.
100%. I love it.